Welcome to Stay Paid. Today we are answering your burning questions in real estate, business, marketing, and more. On these episodes, we take live calls from listeners of Stay Paid. If you want to have your question answered live on the show, make sure to follow us on Instagram at Stay Paid Podcast. Send us a message saying you'd like to come on the show, or you can visit remindermedia.com/ask and submit your questions there. My name is Josh Stike, Chief Marketing Officer at Reminder Media, joined as always by Luke Acree, President of Reminder Media, and from the Acree Brothers Realty team, founder and team lead Stephen Acree, and Director of Sales Cody Smith.
We switched it up, guys. We're on Zoom now.
Yeah, we're on Zoom.
Yeah, we got tired of Riverside, although Josh and I forgot today, and we were sitting on Riverside for 10 minutes making our guests. Hey, man, you got to be transparent. You got to let the world know when you mess up, just so they can, judge you too.
Absolutely. And our most patient caller of the day, calling from Ohio, Dave, business consultant in Ohio. Welcome to Stay Paid. How can we help you?
Hey, just I wanted to touch base on a couple things. I was in the printing business long probably before you guys were even born. That's how old I am. 1984, and I started traditional printing, envelopes, business cards, letterhead, that kind of stuff. Eventually got into promotional marketing and commercial printing. Direct marketing back then, we didn't have the internet. We didn't have email. We didn't have the kinds of social media that we have today. And it was important to get your messaging out through print media. It was essential. And today we've kind of gone the opposite direction, but you're contrarians. You've taken it to the next level. And I'm wondering if that's a switch that's going to stay and people like to have things in their hand.
I sure hope so. Otherwise, I'm going to be working for somebody else soon. So
he's like, well, they're sure banking on that,
Yeah, exactly. Well, print, people have been telling me print's dead since 2016. Actually, not funny story, but good story is, back in 2016 timeframe, I had a ton of doubt in my mind because people were telling me print's dead. We at Reminder Media, for those who don't know, our main business is custom magazines, and we do some postcards and stuff like that. And we had thousands of clients and tons of testimonials, but I was having a lot of doubt, and I always share with people, doubt's kind of like that nick in your windshield, where if you don't take care of it right away, you're going down the road, you hit the potholes, and it starts to spread, and before you know it, that crack is going across your windshield. You got to get rid of it, right? And you got to replace it all. And so that's kind of where I was mentally. And Steven was working at, financial aid office in Liberty, and he was miserable too, and misery loves company. And so we were talking, and Steven said, you know what, I think I'm going to get into real estate. And I was like, oh, ding, 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 that's amazing. Let's do that. Get into real estate. Let's actually prove out what we do. And now, long story short, they're the number one mid-sized team in Virginia. I think your first year you did 35 deals. By your fifth year, did 320. And that removed my doubt because we don't have a magic solution by any means. It's not a magic formula. And I always teach people there's a principle in there that you should realize, that everybody should realize. Whenever you have doubt in your life and you're paralyzed, the key to that is not inaction. The key to that is not just overthinking. The key to that is action, because in action, you get momentum. And in momentum, you get learning. And in learning, you can iterate, right? And get better and better and better and better. And so that's essentially what we found. And so on the real estate side, man, I have so much confidence that print is not dead. And we work in over 100 different industries at Reminder Media. And what I've found, and you already hit the key point, Dave, is that, in this world of digital and AI and content, it is just so hard to stand out. I mean, what's the average, Josh, person get a day in ads? Like they see consumer-wise.
They say 10 or 4,000 ads a day. They say
4,000. Yeah. So, thousands of advertisements that the consumer is seeing. And you go, well, how do you cut through? And where can you get open rates? Where can you get seen? And my opinion is the mailbox still has maybe not 100% open rate, but very close to 100% open rate, because people are going to their mail still to check the mail. And if you do, what I think is dead is what dies in every medium: junk. Junk is dead. Lack of value is dead. But if you can have quality in the content and in the physical good that you send, then you will not lose. There was this interesting study done by the U.S. Postal Service and Temple University, and they were trying to judge the effectiveness of digital advertising versus print. And, they're very similar in terms of what they can produce, but where they found that print won was an emotional connection, because you think about it, if psychologically it makes sense, it touches more of your senses than just digital, because you actually get touch and you can actually feel it. But print also won in ad recall. So ad recall is you see an ad and a couple of days later, how much of the ad can you remember? And print won, where they showed people a bunch of print ads. They showed them a bunch of digital ads. They had them come back like 48 hours later, and they asked them, what do you remember about the ads? And print won every time on ad recall. So I always tell people, if you're thinking print's dead, you're just doing the wrong type of print to the wrong type of audience. And that's what we want to help people with at Reminder Media. So I hope that helps in answering the question. Like, that's a long-winded answer because I'm a long-winded person, but that's
no, it's absolutely correct. Have you found age or demographics matter to the open rate, to the effectiveness of the media? Because I'm a new customer into third issue of Business in Action, and I'm curious as to whether or not me, as an older person, still likes to have that thing in hand. But that
there's no doubt that older people appreciate it more. There's definitely no doubt there.
There's stats though that millennials actually resonate more with print than older generations because it's different. Like those numbers
because it cuts through the noise,
because it cuts through the noise, and because it like digital is great for awareness, digital is great for attraction, but it doesn't build trust. Like
print and they say too that it kind of goes back to, they say the best CRM is the CRM that you use. Like, I think a lot of it has to do with your playbook behind what you send. And so like the magazine is fantastic because it's quality and gets in front of them. We send out postcards as well through Reminder Media. And Cody and I were just talking the other day how, we hadn't been getting a bunch of traction on postcards, but we sent out a postcard to someone. And then our ISA went through that neighborhood, called them. They remembered the postcard. And so we get an appointment. Well, then we find out someone on the team actually knows this person. So we have him call that person because he actually knows them. And we get the appointment and we get a listing signed out of it. So like, it goes back to what's the playbook behind what you're sending to your consumer base.
It's such a good point. I always tell people, the one thing I have found, Dave, that whether you're sending our magazine or something else from a print standpoint, is who you send to matters tremendously. So for the magazine, we tell people your key relationships, like the people who, like, maybe you consider them your A-list, your sphere, your key contacts that you want to get in front of. We have found that to be the best for the magazine. On like a postcard side, your targeted mailing list matters, right? So, for a real estate agent, to carry on Stephen's example, you want to target people in the home price that you're interested in selling. You want to target people who have lived there for the average amount of time that people tend to live before they sell or they upgrade. And then you can get even deeper. It's like target absentee owners, target people who have recently divorced, people like they are in a debt to loan like equity standpoint, that it's like, oh, this makes sense for this person to actually sell. So getting more targeted in your list always helps your marketing. So sometimes it's not the marketing piece that's the problem. It's the list that you're sending to is the problem, is what I have found.
Yeah, absolutely. The feedback I've gotten is that the top of mind awareness of the magazine, the quality of the editorial writing, the fact that it's personalized for my business as a small business owner. If you're a big company, and you've got lots of marketing dollars behind you, that's one thing. But for a small business that has something like this creatively available to them, it's phenomenal. And the centers of influence, whether it's sitting in a business's lobby, sitting out, with the other magazines that are there, it's unique. It stands out. And that's the feedback that I've received. And as an author, I'm a recently published author.
I love that.
And people are still picking up books. They're not just going to the audiobook, or they're going to the digital media on the platform, but they like to have that thing in their hand while they're on the train or on the cruise ship or wherever they're commuting to. They still like to have that printed word, and
Agree.
And so I've incorporated.
It's just emotionally, it connects you more to the person. It just, I mean, that's stats show that, and it's because it's the physical. Yeah.
My daughter likes the smell of the ink and the, in the paper. And
Okay, that's a little strange, Dave. That's a little, no.
well, maybe she got it from me because
Yeah.
back in the day, when you went to a printing house, it smelled and it still does, obviously.
Yeah, it does. Yeah, no, 100%. And no, I mean,
I'm with your daughter. I love this.
I love it, man. It's the sound of money. Click, 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 click. The printer's clicking. You're like, keep them going, keep them going. Dave, man, so appreciative of you coming on. Sorry about the little bit of delays there at the
That's all good.
with Josh and I, but really appreciate you. One, appreciate you being a client. Let's connect more. I know we're connected on LinkedIn too, but really appreciate your question and looking forward to helping you grow your business. So appreciate you coming on the show.
Thanks, Dave.
Thanks much for the support.
Thanks,
Dave.
All right,
Bye.
see ya. All right, there you go. You can get your questions answered here on Stay Paid Live if you go to remindermedia.com/ask. We'll make sure to reach out to you and get you scheduled here on the show. Next up, we have calling from Maryland, Denise. Denise in insurance and finance. Denise, welcome to Stay Paid. Thanks for being here.
Good morning.
Good morning. How can we help you?
Well, I had no idea I was going to be on a call like this, but this is great. I think I sent the request in basically about steps that I could take to actually build my team. So I'm in the process of building a team right now.
Okay. Can you give us a little background on your business? Like, how long have you been in the insurance industry and financial industry? And what does your team look like today? And even like the size of your business, how much revenue or clients you work with?
Okay. So I've actually been in this business now 20 years, quite a while.
Congrats.
So, well, thank you. It's definitely nowhere near where I want it to be. Right now, I am in the financial business, not just insurance.
Okay.
So I do the insurance investments, debt elimination, budgeting, all of those things.
Are you a financial advisor, like under a broker dealer?
I am.
Okay. Awesome.
Yes, I am. But I actually am building my own brokerage.
Oh, wow.
Right
Okay.
now.
So you're building an RIA, basically?
Yes, that's why I'm looking for teammates.
Awesome.
So
Love that.
actually, I've had up to 30 teammates licensed. Wow. Today, though, I only have 13.
Okay.
So I'm looking to build more and to actually maintain them.
Okay.
To retain them, to keep them around.
Yeah. What happened to take you from 30 to 13? What happened there?
What I want to think. I want to just say transition. So people go into other things, people quit. And then, of course, I basically was not recruiting as much as I should.
Okay.
So that's a lot.
Are those people, those 30 that you had, were they producers?
No,
the ones that
20% of them were.
20%.
So they were licensed. So all were licensed.
Okay.
Licensed insurance agents or licensed both financial, like securities?
Mostly
and
just insurance agents.
Okay.
The investment agents are still around.
Okay. So what is your goal? Like, what are you trying to get to and why?
Well, my goal is to actually build a team of,
You're good.
Of probably, what I'm looking at is to build a team of 50.
Okay.
Maybe more, but definitely 50 is my goal that I'm working with. Why? Because I built 30. So I know that I can build it to 50. I just, I guess I need a little more direction.
Yep. Well, what's the why? Is it the income like that 50 will bring?
Yes.
Have you done the math out?
Yes.
Like
so
if
that
I get
50, if I had a team of 50, I'd probably be making about, if a team of 50 productive workers.
Sure.
Put it that way. That were doing some things. And then all of them really wouldn't even have to. The 20/80 rule still exists and what it did. So if I had 50, that 20/80 rule, my income would be around 200,000.
Oh, wow. Nice. Awesome. Okay. So we need to break down. So you want to recruit. So thank you for the background because it gives us a picture of where you're at. So we need to find the blocker inside your business right now that's keeping you from getting to the 50. So can you walk us through why you like are not able to get there today? Like how many recruits do you have in your pipeline? How are you recruiting? What is the struggle for you today to get to the 50?
I think my struggle is me, first off.
Okay.
And I think that is because I believe totally in what I do. I know that everybody needs these services. And so I believe totally in it. But I'm also I'm an entrepreneur. So I'm not uh, what I want to say. I am a creator.
You're not
So I
organized?
have to create the business. I'm not a processor.
Yeah.
So I think that in my own mind, um, finding people that want to be creators and not going to get a job, that's a blockage for me because I don't think that people actually want to do it. I don't think that because I've been in the business so long that I've actually had that rejection. I've overcome it, but it also has come to a point where um, people do quit. So
Yeah.
I think that sort of put a blockage on me as far as talking to people like I really should.
Mm. Yeah, that makes sense. Okay, so what I'm hearing, well, good for you for identifying first that it's like, hey, my skill set is not in processes and operations. And so I know I believe in what I'm doing. I can train people to do it, but you haven't processed out how to actually get somebody up and get somebody doing it. So in essence, you're recruiting, they're not having success because they can't replicate what you're doing. And so they quit. And you're in that kind of vicious cycle. Now, insurance, full transparency for the thousands of insurance agents we've worked with, that's kind of the game because, it's the 80-20 rule. 20% are going to actually produce, 80% won't. And for all the IMOs and FMOs and the thousands of insurance clients that we have, that is what we've seen. That doesn't mean you shouldn't strive to do better than that, but it just gives you a kind of where the industry's at. I would like for you to focus. So you have what you want. You have the messaging of what you want to deliver because you believe in what you're doing. So now you got to take that messaging and get it out to the right audience. So
Right.
the two questions we've got to answer is where are the recruits that you believe should join your team? Where are they? Where do they hang out? How do you find them? How do you build a list so you can reach out to them? And then two, what is the messaging that you're putting in front of them? And once we defined where they are, the messaging, then we go the distribution. So the distribution is social media, YouTube, email, phone calls, events, right? So first
Right.
we've got to start with where are the recruits, Denise? So where have you recruited the 30 in the past from? Where have you gotten them from?
Okay. So in the past, and even still now, they come from people that I prospect, that I've reached out to. So that could be people that I actually meet cold on the street if I'm out and about and I talk
Yep.
to somebody. It could be referrals from people that I know.
Okay.
And it can even be referrals from current teammates
Okay.
where I'm
That's awesome.
actually assisting them to build their team.
Okay. All right. So then the step there is number one would be your database of recruits. So we need to start building that. So
Right.
you need to start building your database of recruits to get that up. And first place I would go is same as you. I would go to my sphere and I would ask my sphere, are you guys interested in making X amount of income or whatever your pitch is, right? Because we're going to figure out the messaging.
Right.
And you start now reaching out to your sphere, your referrals from your current clients or current agents, I should say, that you have, right? That's part of your sphere. So your agents are in your sphere. And then last but not least, then you would go to, okay, well, who else potentially might want to sell insurance that is in sales? And there are probably a lot of real estate agents out there, local service-based businesses that ancillary, they might want to also sell insurance. So like lenders, real estate agents, maybe title companies. I'm just thinking out loud here. But I go, these people are already in sales, already servicing small, or community-based clients, fits right in naturally. Maybe they would also want to do this. A really popular one for us that might work for you is car sales and door-to-door sales. So like Power Home Remodeling, Anderson Windows, these people have to go out in the cold and in the hot, and they have to go knock on doors, and they don't want to do that anymore. But they're used to rejection, they're used to the sales process. So it's like the car salesmen, they make a lot of money, 100K, 200K, but they have to scrape the snow off the car. They have to get in the hot car during the summer and get their legs burnt by the leather seats. Like you are able to offer them a better. So like, how do you go to LinkedIn and find me all the car salesmen on LinkedIn that are local to me, right? How do I go find all the Power Home Remodeling, Anderson Windows salespeople? And your goal is what? To build a list, right? And your whole ultimate goal in every business is to build your ideal target audience. And then what you do is you figure out what's my message to them. So your message for these people is obviously the potential of income, the potential of freedom, and the potential of like career for a future. Yeah, exactly. And so then you go to distribution. And distribution is like marketing in essence. And I always tell, go ahead. Yeah.
Yeah. Can I ask a clarifying question too? Because I think I heard you right earlier, Denise, when you said the 13 that stayed, they're also in financial services as well as insurance. They're both in, and the ones that you lost mainly were just in insurance. Is that right?
Yes. And all of them that stayed doesn't have both licenses. Because some of them are new too.
Got it.
And
so it was just a curiosity, question more, because if 13 stayed because they're in both fields, right? So there's an opportunity for them to get more income, and that's where your retention line. I mean, that's a huge value proposition from your point. And then it goes back to Luke, what you said is going to these other industries. I mean, you can go to the financial service industry and find plenty of people that aren't doing insurance and go, hey, I have a better opportunity for you to do both. And that's a great
best recruiting thing I've seen from a medium standpoint is seminars. Like masterminds, seminars, come learn how you can make extra income. I don't know if you have an office space that you could host a seminar in, and that's what you invite. That's what you invite the car salesman to, the Power Home Remodeling salesman to, the real estate agent to. You might have to attract them there with other topics, like marketing is a great topic that they all need. Come learn how to use social media. And then you also are there so it's like you lead with value, and then you're there to share with them also a career opportunity for them. So that's a medium for you. Obviously, like this is more intense than just one combo. But for you, what I would ID in you, Denise, is that you're just not doing enough activity because you don't know where to put the activity. And so you need to step back and go, basically, hey, don't get paralysis by analysis. This is pretty simple. I want to reach people. Who do I want to reach? Who's most likely to be able to sell my product? Boom, we've ID'd that. What do I offer to them? Freedom, quality of life, income. Perfect. That's my message. Go to AI, ChatGPT, Gemini, put those things in there of what you offer and have it create messaging for you. And then third would be your outreach. So you could offer a mastermind to invite them to, so they come, so you can meet them. You could reach out to them on LinkedIn. You could post content on your social. You could send them, try to get their email addresses, send them an email. Of course, you could try to call them. You could send them direct mail. I think for you, I would focus on connecting on LinkedIn and social, inviting them to a mastermind where you're providing value. In that invite, you're getting their email address. That then drips them on a monthly or weekly email newsletter. And that cycle, now you just go 1 to, let's say, 5% convert. So you got to get 100 people to try to get 5, right? So you can see the scale that you need and volume of people. And that's kind of your action item. If you do that, Denise, I think you will crush it. Just remember, people severely underestimate how much activity they have to do to land a recruit, to land a sale. You've been in this business a long time, so you understand the rejection. Just apply that to recruiting. It's like, hey, you're going to have to do a ton of activity to get 30 recruits. But the best people who have thousands of agents now, that's what they did. They didn't, there was no magic sauce. That's what they did.
And I would add to the end of that too, is that it won't come overnight.
Yeah.
Like you're gonna have to do that same activity, the abundance activity, for at least 6 months to have any results.
Yeah, great.
So it doesn't mean you're doing something wrong when you're doing it in 2 months and you're like, I still don't have any recruits, this isn't working. It just means you haven't done it long enough. Because we know it works, and you seem very talented. So it doesn't seem like it's a skill set. Doesn't seem like a knowledge base or a offering. So then it's more of like just time on task.
Yep, that's great. Denise, appreciate you. Thank you for coming on the show.
Thank
Let's
you,
connect on
gentlemen.
social, but really, really appreciate you. Go get them.
Love it. Thanks, Denise.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Appreciate
Take care.
Bye.
it. All righty.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
All right, there you go. Make sure to get your questions answered live here on Stay Paid. Go to remindermedia.com/ask, and we will get you scheduled here on the show. Next up, we have Laura. Laura calling from Tennessee, also in the insurance industry. Laura, welcome to Stay Paid.
Hey, how are you guys? Good to see you.
Yeah, it's good to see you too,
again.
Laura. How are you?
Well, the word of the day is allergies, but other than that, it's great. The sun is shining here where I'm at in Tennessee, so I'm grateful.
How is business for you?
Business is good.
Awesome.
It's good. I most of my business actually comes out of California and it's picking up,
I love
believe it
that.
or not.
Yeah,
So
that is great to hear. So
yeah,
what's your
no
big pain
complaints.
point right now? Like, what's the struggle that you're facing that we can help you with?
You know, my biggest struggle is actually being out here in Tennessee and getting to the areas that basically are target markets.
Mm,
And you know, I live out here in East Tennessee. I'm way out here. And it's an hour drive to Knoxville. So your typical financial insurance person's idea of places to go, an hour in California is like nothing. Freeways are flat, you know, you get
right.
there. Well, you supposedly get there, but you know, we all know where there's traffic. But here you're dealing with weather, geographics and that kind of stuff. So getting an impact is, you
Is
know,
East
getting
Tennessee?
known.
I mean, I don't know East Tennessee. Is there just like no population there? You can't sell enough right in your local area?
No, and I don't want to say anything negative, but it's been a little difficult getting to be known.
Okay.
Um, Now the
Well, what's the
typical,
population? Give me an idea of the population in
so
your
I live
area.
in a little town called La Follette,
Okay.
and during the winter there's 5,000
Okay.
people,
Yeah, it's pretty small.
and we're right there next to Lake Norris, and so it grows to
Okay.
about 12 or 14,000 during the summer, and they're all coming from Ohio and other
Yeah.
places. Let's put it
So
that
it's
way.
a
So
travel tourist kind of destination.
So,
Okay. Yeah. So it's
yeah.
pretty small.
quick question. So you moved from California, is that correct, to Tennessee?
hmm
All right. How did you build your business in California?
So before I left California, I had a fantastic network of professionals that I worked with. We're all great friends. We all stay in touch with each other, and it is literally a handoff, a
That's
phone
awesome.
call introduction type thing. And you know, I spent years working on that because the cold calling and that it's just not that's not my thing.
Sure. Have you tried to
Whose thing is
replicate
it?
that?
I don't, what's
Have you
that?
tried to replicate the connecting to partnerships?
Yeah, a little bit. Although the avenues here are, it's just different. I mean, I don't, yeah, it would take an hour to go through all the different things that are so different between one
Okay.
state and the other.
Yep.
Um,
Well, what's the so how many have you tried to connect with? How many partners?
how many partners?
Yeah, how many local businesses relationships have you tried to connect with?
Well, okay, so I have walked and knocked on doors, in the
Okay.
little town of La Follette. Now, there's a couple
Yep.
of towns, Clinton, and I've hit all the libraries, and there's a
Nice.
couple of chambers of commerce. Um, and you know, a lot of these people, I have neighbors that have never left the town. They've never gone any more than Knoxville. So, and like I said, not to throw, there's no disparage on anybody here, but
Yeah.
they know what they know and they know.
Yeah.
And so breaking into that has been a little different.
Mm.
Yeah.
So like I said, the chambers of commerce are always there. There's a coffee shop that I really enjoy. There's a
Okay.
little shop that is
And all of
also,
them have told you no? All of them have told you no when you've asked
it's
them
not that
for
they've told me no. It's just it's a matter of math. How many times do you go in there?
Yep.
When do you make the connection? How do you work that connection? Are they receptive to the
So what
idea
then?
of creating a friendship, a
Yeah,
business
because
friendship?
you're spot on there. It seems like you have a good train of thought there of like how activity and stuff. But what can we help you with then? Because what I'm hearing from you, and this is just obviously to build you up, like coach you up, not coach you down, is I'm hearing a lot of negative thought processes of no population. It's just different here. I have to. So when you focus, what you focus on expands, right? So if you, and you know this as well as I do. So what I want to try to do is break for you and just, I'm just a sounding board, right? It's
Hmm.
just, I want to break for you and go, hey, Laura, what I'm hearing from you is you had a successful business in California, came from relationships. You know, it took years. You've moved to East Tennessee, which was your choice. You have
Yeah,
started to build it and you're saying, well, it's going to take time. It's the number of touches. Like, yeah, that exactly. It took you,
it is.
you
It's
know,
going to
in
take
California,
time.
but your language is more of a downer type language than an upper language. So I would point that out. And then
Okay.
number two would be, okay, so where you're at today, what do you need to do? Right. So you have, because you're saying all the right things of what you're, so you know exactly what to do. So what's keeping you? Are you trying to decide, should I go to another zone? Did I move to the wrong place? Like what are you trying to
No,
decide?
I am not. I don't want to leave at all. In fact, the consistency is the name of the game, especially in this little town. There's no doubt about it. I've watched that with other professionals. The ones that are here, that were already here, that lived here, it's consistency. So
Yep.
that's the answer, for me.
So how
Um,
do you then grow the business today? Because that's going to take time, which you're committed to, which I love. What's the other avenues you're thinking to grow the business today? And maybe we can help you there.
So the other avenues is, well, I am taking a new fascination with, not just the magazine that I do use, and that goes to the people that I've created those relationships with,
Yeah.
and I've literally called them and said, okay, I'm giving you this magazine because one, I know you're gonna like it, you're gonna love it, but two, when you're done with it, move it on.
Yes.
And those postcards, oh, those are going to be so much fun. Those postcards, the recipes, I'm going to start going on camera with those recipes and do them.
You'll
That's
bet.
great. Yeah,
I
that's
haven't
awesome.
done
Great
it yet,
idea.
and you're going to ask me, well, what's stopping you? In
Yeah.
fact, well, I can give you 1,000. My weight,
Hey, you
number
know Luke
one,
already.
I mean, there's a whole bunch of things, but I really want to do that because I do like to cook in
Laura, you just
my
called into the show to get abused. You just wanted us to tell you.
So yeah, no, I totally want to do that. It's a fascination. But the one that I know that I'm going to act on right now is the email, the email magazine.
Yeah, email. So sending
Yeah,
your digital version of your magazine out.
that
Okay.
digital version. So here's the question that I have for you on that
Yep.
is, when I look at the digital version that's being opened up by my clients that I already have on the drip, I see, highly
Engaged.
engaged,
Yeah.
somewhat engaged, not engaged at all or whatever, that's mostly highly engaged. It's all positive. But so the question I have is, what am I measuring that engagement to? What
Hmm.
is what is that goalpost that I'm looking for? Different industries are different.
Yeah.
And, we all know it's a numbers game. So let's do
What is
10.
your open rate? Do you know your open rate offhand?
The last time I looked, it was like at 13, 14%,
Okay, so not bad.
which, yeah. And I mean, I've had open rates as high as, in the 30s
Mm-hmm.
with current clients, people who know me.
Yeah, that's what I was going to
Um,
say. Usually your sphere or your people who know you, you're going to be upwards to 30, 40%. But if it's kind of a spread out list, 13 to 14, anywhere between really, 10 and 20 is where people tend to land in these industries, is where
so
they
the
tend to.
I guess the question that I have, and I don't know if this really puts it into an area where you can't answer right now this minute, but where do those numbers come from? How do I know those numbers pertain to what I do? And then when do I make that decision? Hey, this is good, but it needs to be better. And when do I determine to make those changes or to stop? And the question stems from last year. I took your program actually, and I only did 100, but I really honed in on who it was that I was sending the postcards to. Now, at the end of a full year, I wasn't completely satisfied, and I know that 100 is a very, very small number. So
Sure.
I
Yep.
understand that I probably should have kept going, but I just chose not to because I didn't have anything to measure against
Yeah.
or up to. And that's the question I have. But let's put it to that digital magazine.
Yeah.
If I have 15,000 nurses in California that I can send this to, yes, I have the list that I can send this to, how long until I know, you know what, this isn't working? Or how
What
or what do I
You're
measure it
trying
against?
you're trying to measure, like, so you're talking almost, there's two different veins here within marketing that you always got to think in. One is there's a direct response type marketing, which is you're looking at the number of leads you got or the number of responses. And then there's brand building marketing. And the goal is to do both simultaneously, because brand building marketing is like, why does the McDonald's run the TV commercial on the TV? They do it not because they expect immediately hamburger sales, like you saw the commercial and you bought a hamburger. They do it
Right.
because they know they're implanting their brand into your brain. And so your digital magazine, your print magazine, that is your billboard that you are delivering an item of value to the person that's building the brand. And then what you do is you step back at your whole business and you look at what's called organic lead flow. So, how many people are coming to us? How often do I have referrals? How often do people find my website and come to me? And am I seeing a growth in my organic lead flow? And if I am, then I know my marketing is working. If I'm not, then I know, okay, my marketing is not driving people organically to what I do. And that's kind of your measurement. So you need your benchmark of like, well, how many organic leads do I get every year from referrals, from repeat business, and from just calls, website visits, where I haven't sent out a direct response piece and gotten a direct response back. And then you have your campaign direct response driven marketing, where it's like, we'll run a Facebook ad, for instance, for Acree Brothers. And we have an ad running and we can see, well, how many people clicked the ad, filled out the form. And that's more direct response. And that you can tell instantaneously, usually over a couple weeks, whether or not the ad is working or not. But this, like, we'll run an ad for direct response and we'll run an ad for branding. The branding one is just showing us views and impressions. That one's so much harder to judge. So what you need to look at is your open rate. You have a decent open rate, could be better, but you have a decent open rate. There with the 13% or what you mentioned. And then you just got to go, well, how many organic leads do you generate a year? Referrals, repeat business, and then website visits, stuff like that. And that will tell you if you're doing enough to your list. I'm not sure if you would know off the top of your head how many organic leads you get a year, but I would start tracking that.
Okay.
If I'm you. That's what we do at Reminder Media. Like Reminder Media, we do this podcast. I don't know if this podcast is generating direct leads, right? I mean, we spend an hour to 2 hours every week, and that's not including editing and all that stuff. That's just our time putting out content to the ecosystem that we send to people and we post on blogs. We write a blog. We don't get a ton of leads from our blog. I mean, we get some, but not a
we get
ton.
nothing like paid outreach, but we
Right.
get, yeah, you'll get organic leads from blogs.
Okay.
But here was my point is like, we're not posting blogs and going, oh, that blog was a banger because it got 5 leads. Technically, we're consistently posting blogs. We're consistently doing the podcast. We go to these. I literally had this conversation just with my CRO. Should we go to these conferences or not? We're sitting there at the booth for a couple of days. The conference costs us 20 grand to sponsor. It's like, what's the brand equity of our name being out there in the industry events? And it's like, we have to step back and go, what's our overall cost per enrollment as a company? And what's our organic lead flow? And are we seeing organic lead flow go up or are we seeing it go down? And you should start tracking your cost of enrollment. So how would you track that? Well, Reminder Media, you're spending, let's say, I don't know your account, but let's say it's $79.99 a month that you're spending for the digital package. So over the course of a year, you're close to $1,000 you're spending. So now you go, okay, all my organic leads or clients that I gain, referrals, all that stuff, I now have to go, well, however many I got to divide that by the 1,000 and go, that's my cost per lead because I'm putting that in. Now you're doing more than just the email stuff, right? So you have to add that in and you look at your cost per acquisition and then you go, how much do I make? What's my LTV, my lifetime value of this client? And if that ratio is usually 4 to 1, you're usually okay. Now, the great businesses have a more or bigger than 4 to 1, but if that ratio is 4 to 1, then you keep going. If that ratio is not, then you change up.
Cool. Okay.
Yeah, one thing to
So,
add too, for the emails, use it as an indicator on who to reach out to. So like when you're seeing who's opening those emails, like use that as like, all right, that's my focus point. We started doing that with our leads that came in and who actually like opened up an email that we sent. Those were the ones that are actually like really interested and really great clients and gives you a pinpoint of like instead of calling the 1,500 nurses, which I'm not against doing either, but that actually the open rate will tell you who's really, really interested.
Yeah, it's a great point. So if I was kind of breaking down for you, Laura, like action items, okay, Luke, what can I do from this? The first thing I would do is start getting a number benchmark of how many organic leads do you get? And that way, and then what do I spend every year on my marketing that's more branding? Like, Reminder Media's digital magazine going out or whatever else you do, cups of coffee with people, stuff like that. It's like, okay, what do I spend? And then that will tell you your cost of acquisition. Then you look at, well, what does a client make me? When I close this referral, what do I make over 12 months, 24 months, however long you average keep a client? Then you look at your lifetime value and your cost of acquisition, and you really try to get to 4 to 1 is what you try to get to. I spend $1, I make 4, so it costs me this much, I make this much, and that will give you a benchmark that you're looking for. Then you go to your mediums of like, hey, I'm sending this email. What's my open rate? It's 13%. Well, industry standard, if it's a really good list, you want to be closer to 30% for that really good list. So you go, okay, how do I clean this list? Who's not engaged? And then apply Cody's tactics, which is like, hey, let me actually reach out to these people. Let me send them a text message via their phone. Let me give them a call, see if I can get them back engaged in the loop. And now you have an activity you can do every day. And so that's really what I would do if I were you, is get those benchmarks to know if you're doing a good job by your lead flow, by tracking your lead flow, is what I would do. That's what we do here at Reminder Media. In essence, it's just like we do so much marketing, millions of dollars spent every year on marketing. And so often we're having the same question as you. Is it working? Is it not working?
yeah.
And most people die because they only think in terms of direct response leads.
Yeah.
If you want to get rich, you can do it with direct response. If you want to get wealthy, you must build a brand. You have to build a brand. And brand building sucks because it's like, I don't know if doing this podcast for 8 years every week is worth it. But you go, I think it is. I'm pretty sure. I hear it enough. And it's just like in my cost of acquisition, it's not hurting me. And that's kind of how you make the business decision, if that makes sense.
That's good because what I heard is I really am measuring against my own numbers, which is something that I can get. It's not determined on some guru somewhere
Yeah.
out there in La La Land.
That usually is not doing it. They're just talking about it. They're not doing it. They're just talking about it. And notice like it's judged on your own numbers, and then it's backed up by what? The only thing that ultimately matters. Profit.
My own results.
Yeah, profit. Meaning
Yeah.
like if I spend $1, how many dollars do I make? And that then becomes a real way to run a business.
Yeah.
And because we've done this scenario before, and it's so funny. We'll be looking at these campaigns and be like, holy cow, we're spending $700 to acquire a client there. We only make $1,200 off of this. We got to stop that campaign, because when you do it, you go, oh, I see what I need to do here. I see what I need to adjust and adapt, and just know the difference between direct response and brand building. And most people don't. And you always do both. That's the key, is you're always doing the hustle and the brand. It's like the hustle to close deals every day, the phone calls. I know you don't do as much phone calls, but for you, it'd be the partnerships, going out and door knocking, getting those partnerships, and then build the brand.
Yeah, that's partnerships is my comfort zone, and the calling and stuff, it's a secondary, which like most people, whatever secondary, it's the one that you decide to go do your laundry instead of.
Very well said.
No, well said. I'll throw out one last challenge and we'll let you go. The last challenge to you is you are starting over. And I think you are coming to terms with, ooh, I'm going to have to go build it all again. And you're not sure if you'll want to. Meaning you do want to, and you may need to, But that's really a deeper thing that if I'm you, get around some people that will motivate you, get around some get a big why going again, because that's what I'm reading in you. Is I'm reading, I had it in California and now I moved to East Tennessee and I love this place, but I don't know if I want to go through this pain
Yeah.
again. And
It's true. And
yeah,
being from California, there's a little, yeah, I'm not saying there's an extra hurdle, but there's a little bit of a bump that you have to get over before you really start conversations with people.
yep,
And that's just, I think that's just natural. If I had
it
moved to
is.
Arizona, it probably would have been the same. Um,
Exactly.
it,
And you just know, I can read it in your eyes. You know what you need to do. You just don't really want to have to do
mm,
it. And I'm
yeah.
telling you, you have to do it. Like
Do it.
there's no way around it.
Uh,
There
Darn it.
really is no way around it.
No, that's okay. It's all
Yep.
right. It's good to hear what I know is still the right thing.
Yep.
That's right.
That's what it is.
Some things
Until
just don't
robots
change.
replace us, Laura, until the robots come, that's what it's going to take. Go get them. Appreciate you coming on the
All right.
show. Appreciate you as a client. And hey, you got this. You know what to do. So go
Thank
get it.
you.
Yep. Thank
Thanks,
you.
Laura. Take care.
See you guys later.
Thanks, Laura.
Bye.
Bye.
All right, there you go. Make sure to get your questions answered live here on Stay Paid. You can go to remindermedia.com.
Yeah, she was great. It's just so hard when you know what to do, but you really don't want to do it.
Yeah, you
And
nailed it there at the end. Yeah.
and you just, at that point, it's like, and then you're like, it gets really hard because I'm spending money. So, right, she's spending money. And then you go, is it really worth spending this money? It's not if you have 1 foot in and 1 foot out. It's not worth it, right? It's worth it if you go all in. And so that's what people have to understand. And it's like, but she knows what to do. She's great. I remember she came on a mastermind. That's why you
Yeah.
recognized her. She came on a
Absolutely.
mastermind. Was it 6 months, 8 months ago?
It's like an office hours mastermind.
Yeah,
type
like
thing.
for us. I think you might have been on that mastermind, Steven. We were talking about
I don't
Facebook
remember her,
ads
but
at
yeah.
the time
Yep.
or something like that, or I can't remember exactly, but it was a mastermind with our clients. That's why we recognized her. But she's awesome.
Yeah. Thank you so much for listening. Thanks to everyone who called in. To dive deeper into this episode, get all of the resources and notes that we mentioned, you can go to staypaidpodcast.com. If you enjoyed this episode and want to show your support, go to youtube.com/remindermedia. Cody, I like how your video keeps like zooming in and out.
I know. It goes in and out. Close up.
You can see that on the YouTube video. If you go to youtube.com/remindermedia, make sure you subscribe to the channel. Give this episode a thumbs up. Best way to help out the show is to simply share this with somebody that you know. If you want to get hold of me or Luke, email us podcast@remindermedia.com. Please follow us on social media. We are at Stay Paid Podcast. For this episode of Stay Paid, I'm Josh Stike.
Guys, I'm Luke Acree. Hey, the difference between top producers and mediocre producers is top producers take action. Take action on something you heard today.